everybody, welcome! My name is Ursa and we're back in Millennia! I for one have been very excited to get back into another full playthrough of this game on Grandmaster difficulty, the hardest difficulty the game has to offer. If you're interested in what we're doing or you want to play along at home, these are the details of the game. Today we're going for a huge 8-player Pangaea map, as mentioned everyone on Grandmaster, and today, well, I'm using a map seed, so hopefully you'll be able to play along at home. We're going to be using a slightly different tactic than we used before. There's a lot of different starting bonuses in Millennia, and this is one of those bonuses that doesn't give you anything. We've spoken before about how +1 culture at the beginning of the game is probably the most broken and overpowered of all of them, but leader units plus tactics doesn't give you anything, but late game, this should be quite fun. Hang on, but before we dive into this, something feels wrong about this game. Ah, there we go, Reslantim. Oh, I feel so much better already. Now, if you haven't played Millennia before, it's a 4X Grand Strategy game that plays a lot like, I would say, Civ 5. Well, certainly in looks and feel and the way you move around the map, but there's a lot to get stuck into. I'm really genuinely enjoying the game, and today I wanted to play something that is different yet similar to a run we've played before. Last time out, we used Raiders, possibly the most broken and overpowered Age 2 national spirit that you can pick, and we used it to rush around the map and do a lot of conquering. Today I'm going to be playing another aggressive build, but we're not going to be using Raiders today. I'm not even going to be using chivalry in Age 4. Totally new national spirits, different way of playing, very aggressive. And don't worry, we will be playing a peaceful playthrough of Grandmaster at some point in the near future. But today I just felt something aggressive, something that needed to be expressed in the form of warbands running around the map. So with our starting two, as per usual, I'm going to just send them in different directions. Huzzah! Now if you've been watching my starting guides, you'll know that I suggest going for tribal elders instead of scouting at the beginning. Rushing the council building, which is +1 knowledge, the tech of Millennia, often gives you a lot more early game benefit than rushing scouts. Plus you can build scouts anyway just by yourself. 2 knowledge? No, 3. That's 50% more. And this is what I mean. We're actually going to build scout cavalry. I'm going to put 2 through, I think. We'll just stack them together, get them ready to go. And unlike in my win the age, beat Grandmaster every single time game that we played before, we don't have the +1 culture today, so we won't jump into local reforms as quickly as maybe we could, but it's still powerful. It's still useful. We'll still do what we can. And already I can see a double olives pickup ahead of me. Now that is quite useful. My starting location is actually pretty handy. I like working forest or deep forest at the beginning because you balance production as well as food, get your scout out quickly, but also keep growing. But cattle is probably the best early resource that you could start with. You put a pasture on this, you get 3 wealth, 3 meat, or a meat that gives you 3 food, and you also, it doesn't actually tell you here, but when you start working it, you gain 1 exploration XP per turn, which is very handy indeed. It's all about balancing all of those different yields, you know? I like to try and keep to not so difficult terrain in order to keep myself alive, and already, we found barbarians. If you've never played Millennia before, you'll know that barbarians compared to civilization, well, they're on steroids. They're particularly aggressive and particularly nasty. However, there is a river that gives us 40% defense bonus, and also could stand on the swamp, but I think the swamp actually makes it worse defense-wise, so I'm actually going to just remain on this tile. They'll attack me over the river. I'll be able to kill them without losing too much health. You're going to take the bait. You're going to go for it? Yes. And look at that. We actually still have almost our full health, and they lost half of theirs. Defending over a river. Let them attack you. Take the defensive bonus. Ooh, it's a landmark. I'm going to do little circles of my land with my warbands, my starting warrior-like troops. I don't want them to move too far away in case barbarians try and come back to my land. But that is something for the scout cavalry to go and take part in. So we are going to immediately move over and see if we can go and find it first. Our culture power is also ready. We are immediately, instead of going to raise an army, we are going to go local reforms. Local reforms gives you 50% of all income and domain. So we'll have 50% more knowledge, culture, food, government XP, everything decent that you could possibly go for, and bam, like so. Now we're growing up to the maximum of 200% food. We've also shaved a lovely turn off our scout cavalry, and we're gaining more research and more culture. Excellent. And we'll boost this and just pick up the +1 food from tribal. I like to go oral history and tribalism reformed, as well as community projects to get the knowledge, 2 culture and improvement point. I like to do that before we start using our government XP on settlers. In fact, I very rarely use settlers in this game. I find it a lot better to make very big cities and to aggressively expand into neutral little vassal territories. And as you can see again, we won that battle. Like, we haven't taken much defense. You just continue attacking me across the river. That is fine with me. Council, finished. Again, people love to go early game scouting. I understand getting another 3 scout is useful, going through deep woods is useful, but I don't like to rush it. Instead, I prefer going for the archer or the plantation or pasture. I'm actually thinking getting pasture at some point will be useful because I do want to work that cattle. I'm tempted to go for defenses first. Keep an eye on as well, because as the AI unlocks things, you can see 2 people have actually already unlocked scouting. So that's actually a turn off. I wouldn't normally go for it, but maybe it's worth it because it's a little cheaper. Now, I think the archer is definitely worth it because it shreds barbarians. It opens up so much early game strategy. And look, speaking of barbarians, here's some more. I never like attacking them with my scout cavalry. Tribal village. Tribal camp in this game, I should apologize. Want as many of those as we can get. And the warband survived the combat yet again. Now we cross the river and we find the barbarian camp. All right, we'll return to that once we've got a little bit better army. And you, Mr. Cavalry, you head in the other direction. Whilst Byzantium works on the council building for the knowledge. Excellent. You can see we're working 2 forest tiles and we're already almost growing to full. Perfect stuff. Little vassal state to the south of us and a choice between exploration and warfare XP. Today, I'm going to be taking a wild hunter's choice of national spirit and they work off exploration XP. So we're going to start picking up exploration XP. My mind was kind of made up when I saw the cattle, the sheep, lots of cattle. There's lots of stuff that we can work around, a little bit of scrubland. It's probably not the best, but I like the bow hunters. They're a good mix between economy and military combat, but we'll explain all that in a little bit. By the way, I never go for raised tribal army. A single warband using government XP, that's not worth it. Government XP is one of the most precious resources that you have early game. Don't waste it on warbands. It's not worth it. Now we unlock farming. As mentioned before, I would like to get the pasture. You know what? I've got civ in my head. You unlock pasture at the beginning of the game, don't you? Don't even need it. I can actually build it already. 16 to pasture, so we don't need to do that. Instead, I'll let that tick along and I will go scouting. The reason why I'm going to jump on it is because it's got minus 30%. It saved me a turn. If we can go to the Age of Bronze first, we can get some innovation, some tasty innovation. The resource that lets you discover things very quickly. And don't take the warfare XP, take a 3 warband. Now I've got 2. I can bring these home, combine them with this archer. We already have a pretty effective fighting unit. So let's do that and we can probably take out some barbs. A lot of people like to go for the improvement points before the knowledge. Save your government XP for knowledge because at the moment that's worth another 1.5 knowledge per turn. With that improvement and the council, you'll be up at 6 per turn. It is so much quicker to early tech. You want to get out of the Age of Stone as quickly as you can. We're cavemen. We're walking around with clubs. It's not worth it. Learn to use metal. You'll thank me. Oh, barbs again. Just gonna let them attack me whilst my archer makes their way over. You see, this is the problem about not having the +1 culture at the beginning of the game. My local reforms has run out. Never mind. We'll let Byzantium just grow a little bit. Don't worry about it not growing particularly fast. The Age of Stone can be a little bit like that at times. Oh, if you get government XP beginning of the game, now you know you're on a winner. Right, +1 knowledge. Look at that. Back up to 3. And we save up the 25 government XP to pick up the innovation and the culture. Quicker we get the culture cycling through, the better. What is this landmark? We discover it for a little bit of XP. It's just a tall mountain. Oh, how uneventful. You might be tempted to get another scout with your exploration XP. Again, if you know you're going to be using as the government, I would just save it. It often works out better. And okay, we were attacked again. That's fine. They attacked me. It's 2 against 1. It's an easy fight. Bring our units back. We'll combine up with the archer. Then we'll have a barbarian killing force already. The barbs are going to be chasing down my scout cavalry. We don't like that. We'll just leave that alone for now. Oh, wow. Look at that. The AI is really charging through here at the moment. Look, only 1 of them has hit the Age of Bronze already. That's crazy quick. Well, we won't look at that too much. I'd rather have the exploration XP than the scout. Sounds like a strange choice, I know. But as I say, if you're going to go for a government that relies on it, you might as well go for the XP. Again, I don't like to create a town until I know that I need the space. At the moment, we've still got loads of unused and unworked tiles. Not going to go for the town just yet. So we'll go for local reforms. Bam, 4.5 science per turn. Another burst of culture. A little bit more government XP. There's a lot of good stuff to like. Age of Bronze may become future in 3 turns. So that's pretty quick. We're only going to get to it in 5 turns, but we'll give it a good bash. You never know. Maybe Egypt are being boosted at the moment. You're never quite sure of what's going on. Even if we don't make it first, we don't get the innovation at the beginning of the game, it's not the worst thing. The best thing we can do is just make sure we're on Age of Bronze tech as fast as possible because the game, it really rewards you having a tech lead. Things that you can do later in the game in this game are so good compared to Age age of stone technology. No point hanging around. Another little vassal state. Got 2 around me so far. That's not too bad. That is a total dead end. I don't know why I walked out there. 2 warbands and an archer. Walk into a bar. No, not a bar. A barbarian camp. We'll start this combat. If we can at least do some damage, or actually if we can kill the barbarian inside the walls with our archer. Not quite this time. That would have been a good result. But hey, a draw is a draw. We didn't lose much health. We'll knock the walls down in a second. Council building. Finished. In 3 turns, we'll finish the age. 2 turns for Egypt. But there's still a chance. If we pick up something that requires a little bit of knowledge, or gives us knowledge, we might be able to just scrape this through early game. One thing I do want to do, though, is aggressively expand. We want to make sure that we get all of the little vassal states. To do that, I would like a little bit more army. But I think for now, I'm going to start off with building a lookout. I don't normally rush this, but the +1 exploration XP, that will help with my government choice or my national spirit choice. Oh, some knowledge? Some knowledge? No. Wealth or production? Wealth at this stage can be quite useful, but we will be picking up some wealth from my cattle, so I'll go for the production just to take a little bit of the bite of that improvement off. And now for the barb camp. We're just going to get a nice early kill on that unit. That's always the best thing. As soon as this unit dies, I can attack the walls as many times as I want. There you go. Still, same thing. More exploration XP. Done. And now, no barbs are going to spawn to my north. That is very handy. We're going to be 1 turn off, finishing the Age of Bronze first. That's a shame. We're actually in second. We're ahead of all of the other Grandmaster AIs. That's the power of +1 culture per turn. That's the power of +1 culture per turn. But don't worry. Increased leader tactics is the sort of thing that will come in handy later into the game. We'll explain that once we get leaders. Egypt leads the way. For now, that kind of makes sense. Egypt, very Age of Stony, building pyramids, doing cool stuff. Not a bad thing at all. So the cool thing is that if somebody does jump into the age before you, they actually take 30% off the cost. So it accelerates it for you. It's like a sort of little elastic band mechanism where you spring back, catch back up with the AI. I'm going to move my warband over in this direction now. There's another barb camp. Loads of things to go and explore in this direction. I have enough improvement points now, which is wonderful. We're going to build the pasture. It gives me meat, which gives me 3 food. It gives me some leather for 3 wealth. That's really good. That means I can afford tons more early game troops. And we've got another exploration XP per turn. That's handy. Now we pick up a dolmen. This will give me way more influence. The mechanic that lets you expand your borders. Ideally, I'd like my borders to expand before I build a town, just to maximize the level of space that we're using. Again, we're talking about a lot of different mechanics here. Don't worry about it so much. We'll explain everything as we go. Right. Age of Bronze achieved. First thing we do, pick a domain. And you'll see, helpfully, Egypt, of all of the ones they could have gone for, have also gone Wild Hunters, which is exactly what we wanted to go for. Never mind. So why are Wild Hunters really quite useful? Finding elephants that give you ivory, that's good for exploration XP. Bow Hunters are like more powerful versions of archers. Very good, and they can actually get a lot more powerful later into the game. You get extra food from meat goods, and improvement points from bone and ivory. Just a lot of generally quite good stuff for early game warfare. Now, other options, of course, we know raiders are incredibly overpowered. Mound builders is fantastic for this, food rationing. 50% food needed per population is something that lasts all game, and it's just crazy. Olympians we'll be having a look at in more detail when we go for more of a peaceful run. God King is all about stone cutters and quarries, and actually we do have a genuinely large amount of hill around us, so could be something we went for, but not today. Naturalists, I'm still yet to find a good strategy with naturalists. Naturalists almost are quite aggressive. You don't spend your improvement points, you keep foraging basic tiles. Ancient Seafarers is really good for the sea. Warriors is really good for defensive Spartan units. You just can't kill these things. They're terrifying. Now, Wild Hunters, for me, 2.5 times attack against line. These are actually better than raider units. We'll just take it. Bam. Spawns a bow hunter immediately. Lots of extra strength. Perfect. Let's go link that back up with my unit. Now we have to think about what we're going to do next. In usual Ursa style, I'm very tempted to go for saw pits because I've got so much wood around me and some really good lumber town arrangements. We could also use something that works the meat into something better, but that's quite difficult to use early game. That's sort of a later game thing. farming. If in doubt early game, go back to farming. It's currently at minus 70% cost, no, minus 60% cost, and then we'll go for workers afterwards. If the AI has done the hard lifting for us, we might as well unlock it. Okay, this hut has found me either culture or innovation. Now, I've already got access to some innovation coming along when I finish my government tree, so I'm tempted to go for culture instead, because that finishes this now, and I can again go for local reforms, and bam. Just make sure Byzantium not only is growing fast, but is also giving me lots of science and culture. We want to keep those resources as high as we can for as long as we can. Now we'll unlock workers, or will I? No, I'm going to go discipline next, because this unlocks the spear, an upgrade to the warband, very powerful, and increases my maximum army size, which means that my units become very difficult to kill. Lost Pioneer. Oh my goodness, if a Pioneer is offered to you, pick them up. Pioneers are very good. They let you spawn outposts, and already I'm thinking an outpost over in this direction would let me pick up 2 sources of olive for Byzantium. Now that is huge. Olives can be used with a press, I believe. Yes, it is, in order to create 8 food and 3 wealth, twice, 16 food. If I can do that with the outpost, there will be no need for any other food coming in. So we can go for discipline, belief, and community, and I can work production in Byzantium whilst the food just trickles in. It'll be lovely. That is a fantastic spawn for me. That changes the early game. That speeds it up by probably about 5 or 6 turns. You gotta love an early game pioneer. You very much do. I lost merchant this time. Diplomacy XP is good, but yes, I would love a merchant early game. Now, merchants won't be very useful for me right now. If I move them back towards Byzantium, if I do take over a little city-state, a vassal state, then a merchant will help me to increase its prosperity as quickly as possible. That's going to be very useful if I don't go for the same build I went for last time. Oh, one of the good things, one of the big reasons you want to get out of the Age of Stone as quickly as you can is that with every age you go up, your scout cavalries get higher defense. This barb just attacked me and I won the combat. That's an Age 2 thing. It's so much better. I realized I could have gone for that before. Innovation and culture. What you should do, hold control, click your left click, and you get this little notification bell. When you can do it, it'll stop you from progressing without picking up the upgrade. Very, very handy indeed. I'm going to rush hunting grounds and then we'll go back to other stuff. So we're going to go via smoked meat. 2 food from meat goods will give me +2 food in my capital. And the dolmen is increasing my tile growth. That just is naturally getting on with stuff. Let's build a food stockpile quickly. That'll push my region level to 2, which means we can go beyond 5 population. Region level limits the population in your city to 5 times your region level. So currently my pop would get maxed out at population 5, but the food stockpile increases that effectively to 10, as well as giving me more food as well. Excellent. So many mechanics. Blimey, don't worry about it. It's fine. Another double olive spawn over here with 2 vassal states. These are the sort of things you want. Groups of resources together to give you benefits. And did you see there? I left my scout cavalry on a hill. Gives it more defense if the barb were to attack it. In fact, I'm just going to actually let it heal up for a second on that tile. I have the defense. The barbarian is going to effectively give me infinite experience. And yeah, population limit has been hit. This time we get, again, warfare or exploration XP. Just keep taking exploration XP. It means you can upgrade faster. Smoked meat. Done. Byzantium now growing faster. It would be if I hadn't hit the cap, but now I'll go beyond the cap. Second landmark. If we can pick up 3, we can choose a fun third age. A Great Barrier Reef. Lovely. And there we go. Discipline. Now we can upgrade our warbands into spears. Just what we fancied. Now on to belief. Unlock the press and also unlock the temple. More knowledge and more culture. It's Byzantium now going to build. Not much production at the moment. I'm going to work on a bow hunter. Let's start making a few of these. I'd like to build them up, make them powerful, make them adaptable. Community projects is done. Government XP is now not pointless, but I'm going to let it stack up for when I go to the third age. Now here we go. My warbands for only 3 warfare experience, which I've got quite a lot of. These can upgrade now into spears. Warbands have 7 attack and 10 defense. Spears have 11 attack and 16 defense. A lot more powerful. That's looking lovely. Let's grind some more barb experience. In fact, actually, I will attack the barb camp rather than the random barbarians around. We might as well use these spears to do some decent damage against the barbs. They're much more powerful, much more defendable against the barb attacks. The more of these encampments we can destroy, the better position we'll be in. This time the barb camp is down. And we don't need government XP particularly. Let's go warfare right now, because now what we can do now is take this promoted spear, a veteran of several battles, and we can now spend 20 warfare XP to make them into a leader. Now a leader otherwise shares the stats of the unit you promoted them from. They can never be upgraded again, so once you've made a leader, that's it. They can never be better than a spear. However, for every level of leader, they give you 1 level of tactics. Tactics is an ability that gives you 10% bonus to attack and defense. So leader 2 means that all of these units in this lineup now have 20% bonus attack and defense. And this is where my starting bonus comes in. Do you remember at the beginning I said I had extra tactics? Every one of my leaders gets +1. So at the moment, my leader is now giving me 30% bonus attack and defense. We've created a monster. More importantly, we've created a city-state slaying monster. There's actually 4 of them here. 1, 2, 3, 4. We need to assemble an army. So actually what I'm going to do is this bow hunter is going to move out and meet up with this army. And the spear is going to escort this pioneer to make sure the outpost doesn't get killed by barbs. Sometimes that can happen. It's always very annoying. Oh, hello. A scout cavalry from Sweden. Our first neighbor. Let's keep an eye on Sweden. We come in peace for now, but for now may not be forever. And spoilers, it won't be forever. Borders grow. Okay. Towns. Town locations. What am I going to do? At the moment, this would be a good town for 5 lumber. This one would be good for 5. This would have 4. This would have 5. There's a lot of cool areas here. I think a lumber town is the best one to go for first. I might let my borders expand onto this tile before I pick the town up. So we're going to continue local reformsing it. Right now, it increases the rate in which I make units. It increases the rate in which I tech. It just keeps me technologically on par with the AI, which is very difficult to do. And I think as much as diplomacy XP is good fun, warfare XP right now for me is more useful because I can start using spare warfare experience to make spears. The more troops we make, the more barbs we can kill, the more avenues we have to expand into. Oh, that's unfortunate timing. A barbarian warlord. I do not want you to go and kill the outpost I'm about to make, so we're not even going to make it. I'm instead going to move these units back and link up with the spearmen I just made. So I think they should be able to withstand the barbarian warlord, but these things have a lot of attack and defense. Ideally, you need bowmen to deal with them. Good thing I've got a bowman on the way. We cannot let that become a problem. Next up, community. Byzantium now hits 6 population, which means it needs housing now. On top of everything else, it needs housing. There's always something a city needs. Luckily for me, I've just been letting my improvement points save up, and we're going to immediately put down a 5 improvement dwelling. Lovely. Okay, the barbarian warlord. Oh, it did attack me. That hurts, but I have a bowman now. Move the units back. Back to my land, back to defensible terrain. This barb, it's tough. It means there's definitely an encampment around that we need to kill in that direction. We don't let them win though. We will not let them win. Bow hunter, complete. Next up, as much as I want the temple, I'm going to go for another bow hunter. Lean into your national spirit. I think that's always the way to go. You're going to attack me? Yes, they will. That works nicely because that means I've got an opportunity for my 2.5 times damage archers. Did you see that? They did tons of damage to the barb. Look at that. You're never going to win. You're never going to win. And this is where you'll really see the leader XP coming in because 3 damage is all the barbs could do to me. Extra defense. Beautiful. Just grinding warfare experience now. Do I want 10 knowledge or 10 innovation? I'm going to take the knowledge right now because that gives me community. And that's my 3rd. We can go for the Age of Iron. I really wanted the Age of Heroes, but I haven't found a 3rd landmark. Still, there are really good other ages. I'm not feeling too bad about that, but short of finding another landmark randomly, let's go Age of Iron for now. Age of Blood's always quite fun if you were to go hyper aggressive, but I like the combat to be on my own terms. We don't need it to be just random chaos. And as you can see, look at that. We are leading on tech. Where are you, Egypt? What's happened? Can't keep up with Ursa now, can you? There's a lot of little vassals around me. It's very good to know, isn't it? Very good to know. Outpost constructed. Now for the small cost of 30 improvement points, now I can improve these olives and send them back to Byzantium. Quite expensive, I know, but it is worth it. However, Byzantium's got other problems right now. First of all, seeing as the AI, it is chasing me down now. France is on its way to the Age of Iron as well. Okay, I can't come off this 7 turns. France might overtake me here, you know, because I've lost my local reforms. What I was going to suggest was I just dipped very briefly back into workers, seeing as it's so cheap, and that would let me unlock the levy workers project, but that's going to be quite expensive for a little bit. So instead, I'll pick up another bow hunter. Nothing wrong with more bow hunters. And speaking of, I've got an archer and a bow hunter both now within the same army. Let's head north and let's go take on this little city-state. Wild hunters. Bow hunters gain 7 extra attack. That makes them incredibly impressive at killing line units like war warbands. France is going to go into the Age of Iron before me. I don't like that. I think I'm going to go one last local reforms. I'm waiting for this tile to be earned. I need a little bit more influence, or I need to unlock the ability to just buy the tile with exploration XP. You get so few towns on this game. It is worth waiting to make sure your towns are absolutely as good as you could make them. Whilst this army is going to go down to take Mycenae, and this one in the other direction is going to take Attena. Government XP or exploration XP? Let's always take exploration. Perfect. And we can now give ourselves the legacy, but only when we have 5 bow hunters. All right, good to know. Next up, I think we're going to unlock elephants. I want to reveal them on the map. I want to see where they are. Where in the scrubland? I think I've built my housing on some scrubland, so there's a chance I might have overlapped it there, but it happens. Innovation time. My innovation is capped out. I unlock something to do with bow hunters, +1 culture from meat goods. That's really handy. Yeah, let's take it. That gives me another culture. 7 per turn. Amazing. Will this barbarian survive against an onslaught of archers? No. No, it does not. Will this barbarian survive an onslaught of archers? No. No, it does not. Fighting across a river? Doesn't matter. Especially because as soon as you get that first promotion, 20 warfare experience, make a leader, all units here are getting 30% extra attack. It's so simple, but so effective. Let's see if we have many elephants around. Some over here to my left, lots of scrubland in that direction. Some over in that direction. Yeah, really very low elephant haul. It's a little bit RNG that one, but never mind. Okay, well, we haven't got to worry about where we put things then. France have overtaken me for the Age of Iron. Again, it's annoying. Why are you doing that? Don't do that. Let me win. I am the best and deserve it. I think the first thing we want to do is make sure that we've got the lumber mill working now. So let's get a login to give myself a little bit of extra production and follow that up immediately with a saw pit. This starts to generate engineering XP and means that for every log I'm getting in, turns it into lumber, which gives me 4 production. So I'm going at the moment from 1 population giving me 2 production to 2 population giving me 4 production. It's not a great improvement, but for every one after that, I get another 4 production and I'm gaining engineering XP. It makes sense in the long run, in my opinion. I want 3 improved woods to make this so. Alas, France beat me to it just. But we have mine improvements costing less, population costing less. Let's unlock workers quickly, and then we'll finish Age of Iron and jump into that. Okay, I've changed my mind. Age of Iron it is. Let's jump into that quickly, because what I'll do is I will unlock a crossbow upgrade on my regular archer. I'll just get that for 3, plus everything's just a little bit better in the Age of Iron. Here we go. My regular archer becomes a crossbow for a little bit of warfare XP. My wealth cost is starting to creep up. I do need to make a little bit more wealth per turn now. So something I need to consider going forward. But now I have a bow archer that does 18 attack and a crossbow that does 16 attack. So that's looking pretty good. Oh, here's Sweden City, by the way. They are quite far over to my left. France is over here somewhere as well. We just met them. Oh, can't believe they got there first. Never mind. Workers, 0. Love it. Time to pick up a temple now. Knowledge and culture. Looking tasty. Now that I've got workers, we're going to probably not rush ahead on tech really very quickly. Let's instead pick up mining. We can get a 3 pioneer, and then officials to pick up a 3 envoy. Second forester up. Watch my production. 5 turns on the temple. Bam. 4 turns. Very soon we'll put that to 3 turns. Time to take on Attena. Now all we need to do is make sure that this spear hopefully doesn't die, but my crossbows and my archers, if they can fire over the top of the walls, take out some militia. I said take out some militia. Don't keep fighting and hitting the walls. Okay, that's a little bit better. We'll get at least a couple of attacks. Bam. Oh, the spearman almost died there, but okay, we should be able to take out that city next turn. This is good. We have a very effective fighting force. It's like it's our own raider force, but not using raiders. So I really do not want my spear to die. So I'm going to move it out of the army and attack with the remaining 3. There's no walls, it's just militia. So our archers and crossbows should just slice through. There you go. Perfect. And let's start to pick up vassals. You can destroy it, gain 2 population in your capital, but no. Our first vassal, and in channel tradition, I like to thank all the channel supporters, the people that support me on Ko-fi and Patreon. They're all lovely people, they're wonderful, they help me to do what I do. So let's throw some names in here. Welcome, Helicopter Kicker. Ignore the flames, I'm sure it's fine. I'm just gonna give myself a turn or 2 to wait, to heal, to level up, then we'll go again. Can we repeat our successes in the north down south? This time with only 2 bow archers, but again, again, we have a leader tactics of 30%, which is the usual 20% plus 10% from me being me. I'm just a tacticky sort of guy. Oh, as soon as you see the walls come down, you know it's all hunky-dory after that point. And we've got everyone routed. There's nowhere for them to run. We have another vassal in our land. Welcome. Dad Tato, Byzantium, Forester, number 3. This massively boosts the production in this city. Hugely boosts it, and now means we have 3 lumber, 4 population making 12 production and 1 engineering XP. We'll get the temple sorted. Now we need to start thinking about making some money, like serious money, quickly. I mean, don't get me wrong, Dad Tato's giving me 0.4 and Helicopter Kicker's 0.3. We might need a little bit more than that though. Now that I'm in the Age of Iron, we have a culture power. Let's make a peaceful revolution. Now we have a choice. Imperial Dynasty is all about improving your regions. Kingdom is all about improving your vassals, broadly speaking. The main difference is that Kingdom lets you settle more, and it means that you can have satrap, which increases your prosperity of your vassals without needing to use merchants, which is very, very handy. Imperial Dynasty lets you construct palaces. This gives you government XP and influence, and everything gets better. Your farms are better, your houses are better, your sanitation's better. It's on paper very, very good if you can get some huge population. I don't think we're going to have the population in Byzantium to really pull this off, so I'm going to go for Kingdom instead. It's about going for a wide build as possible. So yep, let's just do it. New leadership. And I think an ability to use my government XP for 2 spears is a little bit better than 1 warband. So we'll do this. We need to rush up or install satrap as fast as possible, but I'm going to just put a little notification on for when we can do reap scuttage. We need government XP to do that. I'm going to move my second pioneer up to the north, and I'm going to move them over to where these fish and cattle are. It's on the coast. It's not somewhere I would settle, but it would be again handy for Byzantium in the long run. People often ask me why I don't integrate outposts into my cities more. It is a little bit better at making cost effectiveness on getting your tiles, building Byzantium to be as big as possible, but it does eliminate a pioneer from the game, and later into the game pioneers get very expensive. The more of them you have, the better. That's why I don't tend to do it, but it's always a good question. I like the question. Time to levy workers. I need to get my improvements sorted so that I can sort my gold situation out as quickly as possible. We might have a small wealth problem about to appear. We've gone very aggressive on the building of troops quite early on. That's fine. Sometimes it happens. Let's not worry about that too much. Instead, let's pick up infrastructure. More towns, aqueducts, ovens. For me, I think that's a good combination of stuff. Plantation for some wine. I wouldn't normally do this, but the extra wealth, and it fills a small hole. Just a small one. We've also met Russia. Oh, of all the units to disband because I had no money, a bow archer was not one of them. That's slightly annoying. Right, we'll keep improving this. My merchant has arrived at Helicopter Kicker. This will start to improve prosperity up to the maximum of 300. We'll get more wealth per turn because of that. Wealth is now stable. Okay, we'll keep an eye on it, but we've done it. We've finally done it. Oh, no, we haven't. The +5 I was getting from units has just randomly disappeared. I don't know what that was, but never mind. Maybe the barbs. Sometimes the barbs will have gold. You can always hope. Go on for wealth. There you go. Look at that, 150 wealth. We are now solvent for another 50 turns-ish. Don't worry about the ish. The ish is fine. Next outpost. Bam. Roads all the way around. That's pretty handy. Now, let's send trade post back. We've now got goods, 1 olive. Just a little bit of wealth for now, but that will get made into something a lot better. 10 population Byzantium. It's a big city. Now that I've got my wealth back, one thing I did want to make sure is that I actually have garrisons on my outposts. I don't want barbarians coming along and just killing them. So Byzantium is just going to break what it was doing briefly and produce a few bow hunters. There's also a thing that when I go to age 4 and we head to the Age of Monuments, we won't be able to make these things anymore. I want as many as I can in this short space of time. Helicopter Kicker is now becoming integrated, and I realize I have some spare warfare experience. So there is a spear. Move yourself into this army whilst they just rest outside of the city of Liverpool. Delicious. Now we're finally in time to take bone tools, which gives me improvement points from bone and ivory, but there is something that I have become aware of, and I'm not getting bone or ivory from cattle. Totally misremembering that. It's from elephants and game. So one thing that bow hunters can do is they can sit on tiles and send the resources back to the capital. That would be useful if I did that, but it's not exactly the most important upgrade for me right now. What I might do is actually just use some exploration XP to claim some territory. Again, not the most efficient use of space, but this means I can now go for a perfect town surrounded by 6 plots of wood. That'll give me tons of wealth, tons of production. Byzantium will grow very quickly. We have very much suppressed Byzantium for a little bit. I don't normally judge a run until we get to about turn 100. We have a lot of time to be faffing around with at the beginning of the game, so that in itself is pretty good. We don't want to be waiting for so long. Yeah, normally I would rush culture, but we do not have the spare wealth at the moment. That is not something that I have. This probably isn't the best use of my time, but just more bow hunters. Let's just get them going. Although actually, let's get the encampment first, then the bow hunters. This gives me a little bit of warfare experience, but it also means I get 10 experience when I build units from this point onwards. That's useful, but we've been waiting outside of Liverpool. Our army is now here. We are working on 30% tactics bonus now. Obviously it increases my damage output, which is very handy, but it also decreases the damage I take, making combat much more trivial, but more importantly, meaning I've got to heal less between combats, so they cycle through quicker. And bam, let's vassalize and let's rename. It's Dad Tato. Right, we might give it a turn and then we'll head south towards Malaga. This scout, by the way, has now become level 3. We're holding on to them because they will become a very powerful explorer or even a hero in their own right, a leader in their own right later into the game. Very, very handy. Culture, as mentioned before. Now let's form the town. And bam, tis the beautiful town of Radiatore. I am going to be told when I can expand it. We will go straight to a level 2 town, and the production of Byzantium will grow astronomically quickly. Look at all these natural landmarks. Tropical rainforest, Borneo rainforest, it's all round the same place. How come they were all down there? I barely got any. Actually, I got 2 all to myself. It's not too bad. France and Russia are now at war. Ooh, Czech's calendar. Is it winter? Does France want to be doing that? All right, my outposts are now being defended a little bit. This makes me just a touch happier. A touch. Not a huge amount, but a touch. Infrastructure. Town number 2 and aqueducts. Excellent. Lots of fun stuff now. Yeah, I think we're going to unlock cavalry and influence in all regions at the moment, and then 20 warfare experience. Let's go horses. And the reminders are now kicking in. I have enough for a press. This will turn our beautiful olives into beautiful oil. Yum. Extra wealth and a whole heap of extra food. 8 food, 3 wealth. Yes, that's what we want to see. Byzantium will grow, especially now it can go above 12 pops. We do need to work on it a little bit now. Oh, both outposts are now protected. I feel so much safer now. Beautiful. The lands start to expand. Don't think we need a huge amount of influence to grow around this town, do we? No, 3.4. Oh, that's easy. Yeah, we'll enjoy that. We'll enjoy that later. Malaga, will the walls come tumbling down this time? Well, if my crossbows keep firing over the top, that certainly will help. Bam, bam. Oh, not quite. Next turn, perhaps. And here is Reap Scottage. Not the most important thing, but it gets us over to install Satrap as soon as it can. So I'm aware that my playstyle is very low on regions quite early on. Age 4 is when I start to really go for regions, because that's when cities begin to become a lot more powerful than armies. Armies are worth focusing on in ages 1 to 3. Ages 4 onwards, cities take over a little bit. 4 regions, 3 regions. There's a reason why. The power at the moment, I am sufficiently behind everyone else. Everyone's in the 900s. In fact, Japan's in 1,000 and I'm at 420. It's pretty weak. It's pretty weak, but don't worry. We are now beginning to get a little bit more. Another vassal, join the horde. And welcome, Callum Billy. Guard this city. Not with your life. That's probably too much. But you know, at least with like a sort of semi-small amount of force and care. Barbs, easy kill on the barbs. Beautiful. Extra knowledge or some more wealth. Wealth, I feel like we're starting to get under control now, so we'll go for knowledge because that is 3 turns worth. I get the feeling that we're falling behind in knowledge a little bit, so anything we can get to push this along helps massively. And look at that, 30% reduction on smelting. Ingots into spears, ingots into tools. Now that is something that's quite good and can improve in age 5, because that's the thing, its furnace is the limitation. You only make 1 copper or iron into an ingot, but then you can make 2 ingots from that point. That's why iron working is less efficient than wood, at least until you get to age 5. Then it all changes. Is there anything more interesting, more useful? Libraries for knowledge? That's probably not a bad shout. We could go arts for some luxuries and culture. I mean, at the end of the day, sculpting studio, that's a very useful improvement and generates a ton of art. Yeah, arts XP is good. We don't mind arts XP. You know, the more I look at Helicopter Clicker, the more I think this city would be pretty decent. There's a lot of wood around it. Access to the sea, resources, Callum Billy as well. I don't know which one of these 2 cities I'm going to improve first, but they're both good candidates to become regions. Right now, Helicopter Kicker is integrated fully. So let's move the envoy round. Move my scout in just to keep it a little bit safer. Get back in, keep prosperity going up. Yeah, we've reached that point where I think integrating will become more and more important. As we get into more and more scraps, you'll notice that my leader, my level 2 leader, is actually gained a level, which means he gains +1 tactics on top of my regular +1 tactics as well. Means I should be getting 40% now. Leveling your leaders up really does help. Definitely something we want to keep pushing. Another bowman, starting with some experience. Excellent. I'm aware, I'm just so aware that as soon as we go into the next stage, I won't be able to make any more of these. So I'm just getting them out now. The thing is, they are still useful outside of combat later into the game because I can use them as like little micro outposts to send resources back to my capital. It's quite handy indeed. In the meantime, here is my second dwelling. Do I want to put another housing down? Do I wait for public quarters? A little bit of unrest, but 15 housing is way better. Right, actually, I'm going to put a little notification on that. Tell me when I can build one of those. Thank you. France and Sweden are at war. There's a lot. Huge amount of war going on now. Intriguing. Oh, the legacy. +1 exploration XP. It's worth it. You spend 1 and you get 1 per turn from then on. Amazing. We want bone tools yet? We're not going to gain anything from it. Housing +1 food. At least that is something in my capital. Even if it is a small amount. +1 food is still +1 food. Oh, eventually I'll get bone tools. But games like, I keep reminding you, Ursa, why don't you get it? And I'm like, shh, eventually. We'll do it eventually. Don't worry. The more I look at Billy, I think Billy might be the city to bring in first here, you know. They're both cool. Don't get me wrong, but 2 olives and then all of this wood? Yes. Might be my prioritization. Well, we've got the integration happening at +2 per turn because my envoy is sat here at the moment. Helicopter kicker is starting to give me some yields. All right, yeah, that sounds good. Oh, some barbs attacked me with my 40% combat bonus. It's like, are you sure you want to do that? That doesn't sound like a sensible thing to do. I'm just going to murder you. Not even in cold blood. It's very warm blood. Very angry blood. Oh, every time you shoot over the walls and you get a good hit on, it makes me very happy. 15 improvement points or some wealth. Again, wealth I feel like I'm getting a hold of now, but 15 improvement points is handy because I was saving up. 4 public quarters, which I'm just going to pop down there. Bam. Suddenly, look at that. Housing is on point. And in anticipation of Radiatore becoming a lumber town, here comes another forester next door. It gives me +1 wealth for now, but it'll go to +2 very soon. Okay, Japan and Sweden are pushing forward to age 4. We don't mind that. I'll let them discover it nice and quickly. I did think my knowledge was lagging behind a little bit, but it's because I don't have many regions, and we'll focus on that in a bit. Helicopter kicker, I think, just got attacked by a war canoe. Oh no, just a regular barb. Luckily, every single vassal comes with a bunch of militia, so eventually they'll get the kill. Oh, leaders are +2 now. Oh, that's a huge tactic bonus. We're on +50% now, I think. That's amazing. Very tempted to declare hostilities on Sweden and start pushing in and taking their little vassals. There's a couple of them on the way down here. Come back to Billy for a second whilst I scout out the surrounding area. No need to rush this. No need to rush it. Oh, Sweden's pushing us into an age of monuments rather than age of kings. That's fun. Byzantium, suddenly needs an aqueduct. Middens are reasonably expensive from memory. This happens when you get to 11 population. You need your 3rd resource. Where are you? I don't know why I look on that big list. It's useless. 32 for a midden. Yeah, that's expensive. Let's just build the aqueduct. I mean, do I want to build the aqueduct? No, we'll get 2 bow archers. I can't have enough of these. I will insist upon that. Actually, volunteers as well. A little extra spear, and that's not a bad army. Out you go. Into the world. Time to expand the town of Radiatore. Ta-da! Level 2, which means we can immediately change it now to a lumber town. So for every lumber improvement around it, we get 2 wealth and 2 production. Byzantium will be 1 very happy chicken. I think I'm creating a viral illness. Don't worry. Not a problem. I'm not the one setting the age. Much as I'd like a second town in Byzantium, right now I have a lot of space that needs to be worked. So instead, you're going to go 25 knowledge, which would give me 5 turns worth. We go cutting edge for some innovation. No, local reforms for me will always be best. This just helps the city to continue growing, to produce more. Radiatore grows, and the age of monuments begins. Huzzah for all. Is that Sweden? Yes. So we can dedicate monuments, build super monuments, generate extra improvement points, and start a religion, and we can get another national spirit. But only, you know, when we've earned it. We gotta get there first. Whoa! Rhonda's just been taken over as I was getting there. That is not very polite. To move on to the next one. The AI is aggressively expanding just like I am, and that's okay. We'll aggressively expand faster than they can in the long run. Okay, so we've got arts. We should probably think about putting at least 1 sculpting studio down now if we can, but there's the age of monuments. Minus 30% because other people have got into it. We're about 10 turns or so behind on tech at the moment. Not ideal, but also not the end of the world. I think Sweden is going to be our first target. They're pretty friendly with everyone except France, but I'm going to declare hostilities, enable us to be able to fight in neutral territories. The first stage, first step in a healthy relationship. Aqueduct finished. Byzantium, now with a forester. Radiatore giving 6 production. The production of this city is now beginning to climb and climb and climb. There's so many buildings that I really, really want. But I'm now going to levy workers until we're in a position where we've got all of the improvements we could possibly want. Then we'll move over. Let's reduce the cost of expansion into Scrubland. It makes a massive difference. Oh, I knew it. I knew it. It's raiders. Persia went raiders. That's why they're so effective at killing all of these small cities, but we got here first. Haha. Oh yeah, that's pretty effective. We like it. Another vassal. Sweden is ready. They were ready to take it as well. This is where Sweden's army is. Maybe we can hold out here. A desperate defense. The Grand Vassal of Arby Hedge. Which is a good place to heal. Make sure my hero is nicely leveled. Callum Billy is now ready for integration. Now this would cost me 3 culture, but my government gives me 2 culture in every single region. So at the moment, it makes perfect sense for me to upgrade this. However, do I just want to wait until we get install satrap? I think we do. It's pretty good. Yeah, let's give it just a couple of turns. From this outpost, let's pick up the second olive. Byzantium's been waiting on it for a little while to make a ton of extra food from the second cooking oil. Bit more wealth as well. So food's looking better. Sanitation is looking better. I reckon we can get the production in this city up a little bit. As soon as we get to the Age of Kings, it'll be much quicker. Declare war with Sweden. They are probably technologically superior. We know already they're in the Age of Monuments, but this is a little vassal, and little vassals can be taken quite easily. Win 50%, you reckon? Well, when I've got 50% bonus attack and defense, you know, I like to think that I have at least a small chance of winning. 1 unit routed. That's always good. Second routed, third routed. Excellent. City's taken. Chaos is gained. We need to start building up wealth now because chaos will unleash itself upon my nation. But if we rename the vassal to Polar Waller Bear, maybe the region will be a lot more stable. That's how I think it works in my head anyway. This is interesting. There's 2 leaders in Sweden's armies, but I've got the bow hunters and I've got a leader myself and my starting ability. So we'll see if that town can survive assault. I hope it can. Be disappointed if it couldn't. Oh, my merchant was killed by a barbarian I didn't see. Oh, wow. What are you going to do? That's what merchants do. They get killed by barbarians. Radiatory has now got a perfect ring of foresters around it. It means that 10 of my population are working either foresters or saw pits. It's probably not the most efficient, but equally a lot of my food is coming in from my outposts, so maybe it is. I can start sending tuna to Byzantium as well. Right, I think actually, yeah, go on then. We'll make 2 saw pits and Byzantium will work that and its production will just continue to climb and climb and climb and climb. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to upgrade one of my spears to a second leader because this army here doesn't have one. That leaves, yeah, I need to actually bring one of my ranged units back like so. Just do the old flipperoo. Perfect. That's 2 more balanced armies now that we can take into Swedish territory. They have more troops than we do. If we're tactical about how we do this, we should be able to just chip them away little bits after a little bit, like just make sure they can't fight me back. Little outpost here. Haha, destroyed. That's a shame. Where do I send my army now? A lot of unrest going on in various Swedish cities. I think they've been at war for a lot longer than we have. Another saw pit in Byzantium means I've got 3 of them now with some foresters. I think that's everything we want to just make sure this city is glowing in production for a little bit. So now we should focus on getting some infrastructure in, don't you think? Crane for the improvement point, work camp for the engineering XP. Let's start to just kick into the economic gear. It's turn 68. This is about time we start to just create a super city. Although I think actually it makes more sense to go seat of power in order to make more cities in the longer run. Let's do that first and then we'll go for work camp. Malmo. Oh, that's a big city. 16 population with walls, militia. All right, we'll keep an eye on that. I think that might be a little bit too powerful for me to take right now. I haven't seen any large Swedish army yet. That's the kind of slightly confusing aspect to all of this at the moment. Do we get bone tools? Let's do that because I will start to get some improvements for that in a second. So yeah, speaking of, these bow hunters are going to be not quite powerful enough to be used in actual combat for a little bit. So I'm going to go and work these 2 ivories or bones. Yeah, these 2. That'll give me more improvement points in my city. Amazing. And the borders grow again. Oh, you love to see it. So one thing I am going to do whilst Malmo builds itself a little bit of an army, which is not ideal, is that just a scout? It's just a scout. I'm going to start to pillage some wealth from the town around. Gives me time for my second army to arrive, but it also also means that if a chaos event appears and I don't like it, I can pay to skip it, which is quite the skill. In the meantime, down to the south, this Swedish town is being attacked by my second newer army. This is a great opportunity to try and level up my leader too. The more percentage power bonus I can get, the better. Bam, another 40 wealth, and for every town I destroy, the city defenses shrink and shrink and shrink. Oh yeah, look, tropical rainforest, Borneo rainforest, Amazon rainforest, it's all rainforest. So much of the stuff. Why didn't I get any of that? Here is the age of monuments, super monuments, regular monuments, religion. We've even now got pikes. Typically, my age 4 national spirit, every single one has been chosen, apart from chivalry. Yes, we may be a tiny bit behind at the moment. There's lots of different options we can go for. Chivalry is what we went for last time. It's pretty rubbish, apart from vassal population growth. That is really good. As you pick up more vassals, that starts to become more and more effective. We're not going to do that today. Now, Crusaders can be quite fun. These are very, very powerful knights that we can use to attack. Helps me to maintain a religion and remove religion in other people's lands. I like that. Extra culture from controlling additional religious birthplaces can be handy, but the AI tends to level that sort of thing up quite slowly. Khan gives me a unique Khan unit. I don't mind that. I could convert barbarians into troops and use these troops to just sweep around the map. Theologians, now this is quite fun. This lets me use my outposts to make monasteries. Now that gives me luxuries, arts XP, no religion. The thing I like about this one is I unlock something that uses art XP and then I can put down an improvement that lets me just upgrade into more arts XP. It's quite handy. Also, monastery plus 10 wealth is huge. Gives me more culture as well. I'm very tempted by that. Explorers let you move your scouts early into explorer units, which obviously can gain you more exploration XP, but these are actually pretty good in combat. Lets me reveal remote camps or landmarks on the map, explorer guilds. There's a lot of fun stuff. Machinery is more using coal and iron. Bonus production for coal is quite good. Trebuchets are also very powerful at destroying cities, and I haven't really used this in a little while. Clock towers for luxuries, tinkerers for tons of improvement points. Pioneers being able to spawn a trebuchet is quite effective as well. How much coal have I actually got in Byzantium? I've forgotten. Oh, I do actually have 2 sources of coal in Byzantium and more available. Maybe this is the time to go machinery. Shogunate lets me spawn samurai. This lets me get more out of the cities that I have already, which is pretty cool. Lets me upgrade to shogun. Very powerful military dictators. Lovely. Spice merchants I've tried before. We've already had a little bit of bad luck with resources generating on this map and not a huge amount of desert. I'm not entirely inclined to go that way again for a little bit. I think I'm going to go for Theologians. I appreciate it's a slightly different choice, but we need culture, we need economy in order to just push myself through, and I'm going to be taking a religion soon anyway, so I think it's just combining the economic benefits at home with having enough army to actually do what I want, but I think I do have enough army to do what I want, just about. Next up, Grand Projects. This lets me generate monument progress, but it also lets me unlock the logging camp, which is like a regular version of a forester, except it gives you +4 production if you work it. That would be 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36 bonus production in Byzantium. It would almost double the production in my city. It's one of the best techs in the game. And I've now got a pike as well. I could turn that into a leader 4. That's tempting. My leader 2 is becoming a little bit obsolete now. Okay, Sweden is starting to overflow on troops and they're leaving leaders just randomly out. If you want to leave your leader out in the middle of the open for me to attack, I will kill that leader happily. They've got a lot of troops in Malmo. I'm not going to be able to take it. Not like that. I'm just going to skulk around it doing damage until we get really strong units, which I will eventually. Don't worry. We have the luxury of time here. Kingdom, install satrap. There you go. Now all my vassals will be gaining prosperity without me needing to move a merchant between them, which is quite handy, seeing as my merchants keep getting killed. I'm not pointing fingers at anyone, but it's absolutely my fault. And these 2 spare bow hunters are now going to start harvesting goods. This is handy. This gives me 1 bone. I think I might go and take this ivory as well, but Byzantium can use that bone and it will produce wealth and an improvement point. Some militia to kill. I like it when the 2 archers focus on the same target. Just remove it from play on turn 1. I don't like it when they all pick on the same pikeman though. That's a bit unfair. I think we can get volunteer up. Yeah, 44 warfare experience, move a pike up. That'll be good. Ooh, they keep moving units out of the city. Keep doing that as much as you want. I don't mind. I will take this anytime. Perfect. Gee, they've moved a lot of their units out of this city now. We got an opportunity to attack Malmo? I think we do. We're going to take it. Oh, the pike got killed. Very powerful. I mean, these bow hunters are still so good at killing militia. It's ridiculous. It just shows you what the sort of 50% bonus is. The pikeman can actually take a huge amount of damage before it does die. Walls of Malmo are defeated. Excellent. The militia's being destroyed as well. We'll come back to Malmo. Malmo's looking more conquerable than I initially suspected. My attack on the second Swedish town is going a little bit better. Second town defeated. We're pegging them back, if nothing else. Oh, the defenses of Malmo have just disappeared. They've all fled. All right. Well, apparently, if they kind of get the impression that they're going to die, they run away. There's a lot of sense in that, I'll be honest. I'm not blaming them. But bam, 8 population killed. A very strong vassal has been claimed. A very strong vassal. If we have to peace out now, doesn't matter because Clint's in charge. You might need to put out the odd fire. Maybe? We'll get to that in a bit, though. Oh, I've gained a little bit of wealth now, though. Next up, Gothenburg. Oh, Sweden, you need to stop me attacking here because I am starting to really carve into your very tasty center. Rival to the throne, a knight has rallied dissidents outside the borders of Byzantium's regions. Either we can spawn 1 pike and 1 knight each region in Byzantium. I think it's regions and not vassals, but I swear it spawned them on vassals before. Or I just pay some wealth. I am tempted to pay for wealth. Right now, we are embroiled in a very difficult fight with Sweden. I don't want to have to distract myself. Now, in the meantime, barbarians tried attacking my outpost, but I still have my archers there. You're not going to gain through my outpost. No. Get a plaza in now. We need some arts XP. Theologians are doing very little for us until we can build monasteries. Then it'll start going very quickly. Time to found a religion. The beautiful religion of Kofi time. With the religious building of Kofi Cafe. You see, look, I'm so subtle and clever. Now, just by founding that religion, we do a few things. Firstly, we gain ourselves almost 3 culture per turn just from religious population, and that will start to increase. We also give ourselves a new resource called faith. Now, as long as this is happy, Byzantium's actually growing a little bit quicker, which is awesome, but a lot of the Theologians things are related to having a religion, so we'll do that. We've got another pioneer out. I'm going to go and settle near 2 sources of marble. I can send the marble back, we can make a sculptor, that will generate some arts XP, then we'll start building monasteries. I need to work out where monasteries get built. I think they are built on hills, but I cannot remember. So I've got various different points. We'll work it out, and then I've got more XP to make another pioneer in a second, because we can always go and find hills, you know? Hills are everywhere if you look for them. There are 3 archers here. Tell you what, I almost need a cavalry unit to hit through those archers a little bit, but they don't have a leader, you know? Move you to that, and now I've got tactics level 5. I'm just going to try and take out this unit. Hopefully the archers won't do too much damage to me. If they shoot the backline archers, they're not going to do anything. But yeah, look at that, 50% extra attack and defense. There's nothing they can do, and they are routed, and there's nowhere to go, so they are destroyed. My capital is just going to spend a few turns now producing fast moving cavalry units that can move to the front line. 21 attack, 17 defense, and an ability to blitz through ranged. It's something that my armies don't really have at the moment. I can use my warfare experience to go to volunteers and then draw pikes to the front line. I don't mind that. I just need more troops, more defenses. Oh, there's a crossbow and a catapult there. Okay, I'll lure them out by burning everything down. Oh, there's an easy conquer around the side there. Okay, Japan has declared hostilities on me. I do need to watch out. I haven't seen many Japanese scouts or whatever running around, but hostilities are a dangerous thing. It's amazing how often something can slip through. All of the units are defending Skara. They've left their capital exposed to do that. It only has militia level 5. Admittedly, that is powerful, but I reckon we can create quite an army here because I can switch the leader out like so. Now we've got a really powerful leader providing 50% bonuses. I'm going to give it a go. I might regret this, but I'm going to give it a go because I reckon we can probably kill quite a few units in the backline here. So lots destroyed. The walls are destroyed. The militia is exposed exposed. The pike is pretty injured, but they're now vulnerable, which means if I force march them, like so, I can now move the pike out, put them into safety, and then bring reinforcements. Get another bow hunter. We can go for a second round, which might kill the leader here, actually. That's probably not a good move, but if we can kill all this... Oh, that's close. That's close. We lost a level 2 leader doing that, though. Again, I think the troops are really weak. I'm going to just attack with that. Oh, no, I've run out of movement. I should have moved into that unit. Never mind. We might be able to take it next turn. I might also lose a bunch of units there. Who knows? And they've pulled out of their town again. All right, fine. I'll take your town if you really want to keep moving out of it. Okay, I've built my first monument. I'm going to start working it. Take a little while for these to pay off, but they will pay off eventually. And Callum Billy, here you go. Join the Empire. Welcome. Lovely to have you here. I'd like to give you a seat of power as quickly as you can get one. Missionary order. Innovation. The pious population of Byzantium has banded together to form a missionary order seeking to spread the new faith and discover new teachings. Monasteries give knowledge and diplomacy. Okay. Yeah, that's good. Right. Persia have declared hostilities. I have seen Persian scouts around. I don't remember where, but they have been around. Just assume that it's a bad news. Right, you move and heal. Everyone back and heal. Everyone's looking a bit injured. We're a bit frazzled, but we're going to win this combat and we're going to take another huge city. Oh yeah. Regional capital conquered. Bit of chaos gained. Loads of wealth gained. And finally, a very special shout out goes to Glorious Petra, Matthew Wilkinson, Paul Coffey, Portland, Clint Hennis, Scott Stratton, Major King Kong, Skeptical Bear, Cinnamon Beard, Radiatore, Private Selection, Genoa Salami, Callum Billy, Garrett Gowan, Polar Beret, El Truant, Creston, RB Hedged, Mushkin Mandletort, Burial, I'm Daft, Gooberman, Dr. Bobby, Polar Wallabear, Mixomatosis, NTG Golfman, Victor McPupster, Indigenous 68, Technology Poet, Teddy's Ursa, Zaf, Barnaby Rex, Sharky Bates, Charlie Bears, Flying Dutch Burbs, Nate the Great, Alex Frost, Mean Penguin, Interplanet Janet, Mr. Awesome, Frankincense Battlezord, Sleepy Lab, Bookaluk 79, The Nickerman, Bob Loblaw, Davalex. Thank you everyone for your support. See you all in the next video. Goodbye!